Welcome. Today I'm bringing one super special person to me that I met in our plant medicine retreat in the Amazonas. His name is David. Hi, David. Thank you so much for coming here. So, it's all about explaining his journey about the retreat that he has running, the Magia del Duende in Peru. Hi, David. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hey Laura, first of all, thank you so much for welcoming me in your program. A lot of times, a lot of guests were telling me I received so much in Magia del Duende, and they did all these testimonies that are so beautiful, that are authentically done. We are not really running it as a business center, and this is maybe one of the specificities that makes attracting a lot of people. They just see the authenticity that this project is born with this wish to promote ideas and meet interesting people and grow together. And of course, we were changed with the medicinal plants, and especially me, the mushrooms, and Akiko, my business partner.
How you got the idea to do something like Magia del Duende?
Yeah, I have both formation professionally. That one is mathematics. It's always part of me, and now I'm mainly in the accounts administration. Run such a center, you need to be constantly checking your accounts because we have workers, we have builders, and so it serves me a bit. But I was really in another direction because at this time, what attracted me was music. I was already pianist for a long time, composer, and I get very fascinated by music therapy. I was finding a lot of times that the origins were linked with tribal ancestral rituals. And then slowly I heard about ayahuasca, finding in Takiwasi center that is run by a French guy in Tarapoto. I think this is what we were losing in our modern society, and that creates so many problems like the addictions and so on. Magia del Duende, we work with Bobinsana, Arcosacha, that are not psychedelics, but they are medicinal plants that are used for a lot of generations and that are really having an impact on your body. You can feel it with time, like in the muscles, in the energy. Like a medicine, like when you go to pharmacy, it's not necessarily a psychedelic. You also have natural medicine just to reinforce your body. So they also take a lot of these, and one of them are the ayahuasca that gets so famous that is the one who actuates in the brain, but other one can actuate in other parts of the body. The more authentic you go, the more difficult it will be to find. So the idea was to merge this, like to have an approach still native and connected to the land, to the true wisdom in some way, without losing ourselves in the money and all this big retreat. Any product you create is living being in some way. So you
Yeah.
can't be this is done and this is done. And then of course everything which doesn't move will get rotten in some way. So you need to adapt to your days. Now you know the AI is coming, so it can have. We don't want to be in our bubble, and we don't. The other world doesn't exist, so we need to be always thinking the next steps or how we grow. And so this is a specificity of how Mafia born with these ideas.
It's so admirable how from maths to music to nature it came like this journey. Somebody who has been through logic, through creativity, then connected to Mother Earth, the medicine of nature. What is the meaning of life for you that you have explored so much?
Question and good context to ask finally the question that matters more. We need to be completely aligned with ourselves to be able to create anything. First of all, it's my inner peace. A lot of time you want to set goals, but the sadness is that you will die. So once you accept peacefully this decision, like you can live your death as a freedom, and every day of your life you will live it more intensely because every time you feel you get a bit freaky or you get scared of something, at the end of the day, it's because it's death. If you accept that it's finished. And this I saw during the mushroom ceremony, very potent moments, because a lot of time you say the psychedelic is a rebirth or it's almost close to death experience, you call them. And this is also the key because when you are so close to death, you release everything and you are like, and actually death is a big release. So once you do this during some ceremonies, or everyone can get it also through meditation, yoga, no, and this is a lot of time. A lot of spiritualities connect life to death in this scene because we come from there and we go back to there, and this general spiritual values also tends to be forgotten in our society. And it's just this fear that manipulates people. So I think once you get out of it, there is not much a goal like you. there is more a goal of day-to-day alignment and just be be able to create a routine in which you will be always waking up without any pressure. The answer will never be enough. You can't think that like the answer needs to be an inner feeling of peace and this.
Mhm.
So I think that's why this yoga movement have something to like. That's why from the mathematics I was bring to music because something was missing in the mathematics. And when I discovered music, I said, wow, this is mathematics more the colors. Because music is also a lot of waves. Like when you study the theory of music, you have this perfect pitch, the chords that creates the harmony, and the harmony is
Mhm.
magic. It's exactly the double of the frequency. So it's physics. It's a waves that comes to your ear and you can analyze. And this
Yeah.
also I was fascinated, how music really influences the brain. But at the same time, it's a beauty. Like you don't need to know all this. You can just listen a Bach concerto or a Mozart sonata or the Beatles or whomever you like. Some rock and roll, Pink Floyd, and you don't need to know the story behind, and you can cry almost. Because music touch something directly. And this
Mhm.
is why this was for me the missing part of mathematics.
You got
Yeah.
kind of in a balance, I think, from mathematics and music, and then with the balance, I think just plant medicine called you.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. This is my story in some way, and you resume it very well. And I think everyone needs to find also his own balance. This is also one of the key to the goal of if I can finish answering like this, it will be to know yourself. Like if you have a call for something, you need to allow it.
What about the juicy challenges of running a retreat? How do you also deal with these problems when you have a problem? What is the first response? What do you do with it? Do you see? Do you share with it? Do you just close yourself and find the response?
It's a good question, and it's pretty, yeah, remarkable that to answer it, I need to just chronologically tell you three challenges we got. Yeah, so the first challenge that was incredibly crazy and difficult was in 2022 of August. We had built already Duende, but it was still a very primitive form. There were only the Maloka and the bungalow, which has 3 rooms, but these rooms are not even private. I mean, they're private, but they're connected to each other, so it's not ideal for diet. And we had only one diet room, that was a pink room. Because it was one of our last days, she wanted to see the yucca field that is very high. And so we went to harvest with the 2 workers and only another volunteer and another guest that was there. They were in the Mirador. That is a viewpoint that we have. It's also a very nice point to meditate. This time we went there in the field and we were harvesting and suddenly I listened some people screaming and we didn't know. And then going down, Widmer, that is a curandero also with whom we work, is one of the local healer and vegetalista. And he was running and suddenly he says me, fire, fire, like in Spanish. Yeah, huge smoke. All our kitchen was burning, but it was, yeah, crazy. And it was like, it was not even our kitchen, it was a place where we sleep with Akiko because at this time we didn't have another place. We were sleeping in the second floor, so the mats and all the basic elements that we already gathered for Duende, like bed sheets and so on, like all the material. And someone did it. It was not. It was in purpose, and we discovered. And the internet and the panel solar. We lost all the panel solar. I don't remember all what we had, but it was crazy. And Clémence, the French girl, she lost her computer, her passport, and it was one of the last day. And I was so imagine how can I react to this. But it's crazy. Like I this, so yeah, this challenge was one of, I just get in my knees and I couldn't move. I was in front of this and I was telling them, try to save something. And the last thing I saw was the library and we had maybe 20 books at this time. It was very small. And Widmer told me, like it was still alive, but it was too risky to go because there were flames. And Akiko, I was like, let's save the books. And it was like it's too risky. But it was in front of me burning, and there was my music composition, some of them that I will never find back. A lot of people thought it's finished, like you will never get back from this, because it was the earth of Duende at this time, and it was the living space where people was gathering. Duende was so small. I thought now we have more common space, we have more space, but it was still the beginning. And yeah, it happened that it was a cousin of Widmer that got jealous. The day before the fire, he came And he arrived, and I was with Lucy, the lady with the chocolate with us, and he said, "Hola, these stones are mine. All the stones were already put. He didn't dig the floor still." And I said, "Oh, I didn't know. What do you mean?" He said, "Yeah, it was taken from my land." And he said, "You need to pay for this." And I said, "Okay, we can find a deal." And he sent me 15,000 soles, like 15,000 soles. So, it's like $4,000, something like that. So money I didn't have, or I would not pay for this. Like I thought he would tell me 500 soles, I would have paid, something reasonable, because he didn't do anything for it, and he has tons of stones
Yeah.
in his land. So it's not, you can't get 15,000 soles just because someone took stones from your land. So obviously I was not ready to pay this amount. So I just laughed a bit, but I said, no, like it's not like this. And he said, no, but you need to talk with Widmer. He's the one, and come to see me at night in my house. Widmer knows where it is. And then I talked with Widmer, and this Widmer told me, no, this guy, forget it, forget it. He's a bad guy, he has problems. And then the next day, because we didn't come this night, and he was so pissed off, he came and he found no one in the kitchen. And we just finished breakfast, so the fire was probably hot, and he probably just took a wood. And because our locals, they know, and he said, I will just burn this house because it's all in wood. And this is probably what happened because one guy, a carpenter, saw him going down at this time. So it's such a coincidence. But only one guy saw him, and we don't have cameras, so how can we prove it? And he will never have money to give us back what he burned. So, and we did even a legal case and so on just to defend ourselves because Akiko was so scared. And Clémence, how to do with her, for example. And we
Mhm.
went to the police because she lost her passport and so on. And she was amazing. Like she was, David, it's not your fault. You are an amazing guy. You did the best. Like she could have been so pissed off. So I was so lucky to have these people around that was supporting, and all the community supporters, the municipality send us beds and some stuff, like because they saw they come to check and people knew and so on. So there were a bit of movement to help us, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a lot of faith. Like my parents, my father was sure I will give up. He said just come back to France. It's too much. I could have think maybe I will give up, but the lesson will always be to take this challenge. Like I will rebuild something better, whatever it's here, or I will understand what came, the reason that came, and of course now also we put camera. So we try to take the lessons now, so people know it's a bit more protected. In the entrance there is this yellow panel
Mhm.
that it's a video camera, so people will less there to enter. So we try to take it as a what actions we can do from this challenge now, and so we survive.
It shows this resilience and this acceptance and taking one step at a time, whatever comes, and being in the now. So these are like the main takeaways. But let's switch to the amazing parts after this intense section. What are the projects that Magia del Duende is going through? Any collaborations? I know that you had an inauguration last Monday. Can you please share
Exactly.
all of that?
We are preparing a big renewal also because, like I love to mention it, Mafia del Duende is still building itself, evolving organically. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the beauty of never fixing something finished because it grows with guests arriving and the ideas arriving. And of course, also we at one point we want to reach something more stable and clear and organized because now we work mainly by mouth to mouth because we work like this. It was exactly the same with the fire. We really felt after when we rebuilt, okay, now it's nothing to do with what we were a small group, like it was just the beginning of something, and now we got more efficient. And then to be very fast, that this will give the new steps. The two other challenges also are guiding these new steps. Because the second challenge, to resume it, it was a native community that was false, but that want constituted as such to get rights, and they attack us that they wanted to pass by the Maloka. They said this is public pass because they needed to go to their community and they couldn't with a public pass was too steamy, like too difficult to access with a motor. So they
Mm-hmm.
wanted to pass by our land, and they were pretending that I'm not the owner, etc. They were sure they could throw me out. Now we face a third challenge that I talked to you a bit, I think, by message. I'm not completely sure, but the cyber harassment. I think these three challenges have a common that is jealousy, of people who think that you don't deserve what you have, like this fire, and it's a bit the native community attacking us. It's like, oh, these people are
It's part of the shadows of the duality, lights and shadows. It's there.
exactly, and you need to know that life. is not only full of kind people, and this is why there is wars everywhere, and the world is hard. So it's part, challenge will always come because we live in this world. That's why it's good to have this community with which we can really rely, and we are trying to create it, and that also was helping us. The same for the second challenge when this community attacked us. A lot of local people listened to us. So it was nice to see that the local are even against their other because they saw who are the right and they understood that it was unfair. Like he really defaming the radio, saying we are blocking the path to hot springs, and we are the one who are promoting these hot springs. Maybe you remember them.
Yeah,
So
I do.
promote like there are very wonderful hot springs that are 40 minutes walking by the lands of Duende. And thanks
Mhm.
to us, a lot of people were going there, but they wanted to be the guardian of, they wanted the exclusivity on this, and they didn't know how to manage it. So they think we do money on it, but we are just sending people for free. It was not even guided. So yeah, and they said to the radio that we blocked the pass, and I had to go to the guy and say, if you don't do this, I will attack you for defamation. If you don't withdraw your claim, and then the next day he was in the radio trembling like it was a mistake. The pass. So we need to defend yourself, and this is what we learned. But this second step, and now the third step was also ex-guest that unfortunately decided to turned against us for reasons that I will not develop here, but that were completely invented by her and provoked by herself. Like in Google, we had 165 stars review, but long review, authentic review. And then she did so many reports with different accounts, and we don't know how she managed that the Google page disappear for deceptive content, like if we are false.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. And Google is a machine that they were always reacting and but then it's automated systems that automatically react because now it's and so even when I ask to Gemini what to do that is supposedly created by Google, they don't know because they are lost. And then so we try and this mail said like it was suspended by for violation for deceptive content. You can still appeal, and the appeal we didn't know. You have 1 hour to send documentation, and then they send us yeah, like so what is the documentation we need to send? So we send the license, the tax, like to show we are a formal business. And then the third time they say we need to check your business by video, you will receive a mail, and we never received it. So it's crazy. And so we just also now we do a case to Google, and finally, because she was trying to do defamations on Duende, saying we don't pay tax, saying we are not formal, and so on and so on. But the most insane is that she enjoyed so much her stay. She had amazing. She was the one who enjoyed the most. She did 3 months, 14 ceremonies, and we have all the testimonies from Widmer. Widmer gave her 5 ceremonies. She did 5 days. So she's the one who got the most, and then she felt a bit like I'm the one because she wanted to stay, like almost become part of the project, but she was just a guest. So sometimes they turn against, oh, I'm paying $1,000 a month to get this service, and they are just enjoying my presence to get this money. But it's nothing, like to do 3 ayahuasca and a retreat, we are very, very cheap in comparison to,
Yeah.
we are 2 to 3 times cheaper to most of the centers. Because a lot of our guests, of course, they are demanding, and it's true that we want to serve them as good as possible. A lot of time, oh, there is a wall in my mosquito, so we will come to fix it. It's true, okay. But maybe also it's because in their mind they're scared of something and they invent, oh, mosquito is biting this little hole in my door and so on. But we can't explain them that, yeah, this is also psychological. So we try to be the best, but sometimes we give too much. And was a lesson that at the end, like I said, I will not do all the story, but now she's doing false report in Workaway, and we lost our Workaway page, and it's crazy. We have a lot of people who write us, and we had 8 5 stars review in Workaway, like only positive, amazing experience from 2 people, and she didn't even come to Workaway. So it's obviously cyber harassment, and we are trying to, but it's so long to do legal case and all this. So it's the same with all this challenge. We try to go also the positive side. We need to rebuild it ourselves something that don't rely so much on Google or Workaway, because from Workaway, of course, we got volunteers, but a lot of time it was guests because they couldn't stay as long. We were asking for 3 months minimum. So a lot of time, finally, they want to do a stay. So it was also one of our canals of communication. And so maybe now it's forced us to really do the website properly, force us to see what options we have because we are claiming to get back our page and we are believing that it will come back at one point. But I'm always like the website is not finished at all because we don't have still all the medicine PDF and files. We just share it privately when they contact us. We have some PDF about the plants. We have a bit, and I'm not sure now what is online because we have a beta version. We changed it again. So, but the fact is that very few people find us from the website. But some people, yes. But then they contact us, and then we begin to tell them more. So the website is more, but it's not containing as much like a lot of video testimony we have is still not there, etc. No. So now, but maybe now is the time to do this. And also we found we did this meeting of emergency talk with Akiko, like when crisis meeting, like we had this challenge, and now this third one we were a few months ago in the middle of it. So we were, what do we do? And then burst this new project that called Kintinawi in a beautiful way, because I mean, the name comes from Tom, that is a French guy who was a manager at Magia del Duende, and now he left, and now a new manager will come from Hungary. She arrives on the 15th of July, but at this time he was a manager, and he was supposed to stay longer. And unfortunately, one of the reasons I think he left, he was scared because he did a project that is called Kintinawi, and he began to do his page, walk away, and he did on Instagram, and this girl saw this and she's so bad that she decided to attack, and she knew he was a manager, and he's like 24 years old, and she published in our Google Map a review telling, I know about the Tintinawi project, and I already told Migraciones about it. I don't know how, because he was doing his papers, and he was even scared that he will not get the residence. So she was really harassing him. Like, it's really harassment. Yeah,
Crazy.
like yeah, it's crazy. But a lot of people told me then how can you can't select your guest because she was normal guest until this time. And of course, when you work with medicine, it can wake up things, and maybe now then we talk with Bruno and with John, like sometimes we need to also think, okay, we need to do better the integration process, or to maybe she did too much diet and without an integration, and of course, or some people tell me you need to fix the maximum amount of 3 months stay, because some people who have money, they will just say, I want to stay in Gonde for 1 year. But then it's risky because they can begin to get too close to the team, and they are part of your daily life, and then immerse these problems.
Yeah.
So you can block the amount of 3 months, for example. So a lot of we need to think to prevent this, because we had maybe 999 amazing guests, but if one is getting crazy and make defamation or feel this harassment, a lot of people, it has influence, of course. So I don't will enter again on these details because now we want to focus on the positive, and I will come to this point. So we are creating this. So this association, because Tom then decided to leave, but he tells me it's not only because of this, because this review also was deleted. Every time we were doing complaint to Google, they delete. Google was deleting. But the problem is Google was not enforcing the decision. So she was coming with a new pseudonym and doing this. So to do again legal complaint to Google, look, this one is not a legitimate review. And so she was nurtured by this wish to harm. She decides that we are bad from jealousy, I think, or like, yeah, I couldn't integrate their project, so I will destroy them. Like they did not accept it. Like basically, I think this reaction. So we need to prevent this. So we are also thinking of guidelines for the next. So we can, if we see a attitude or like this, we can also control it. So this will be also, now we want to control Duende. So we are almost happy the social network are a bit down, because now we have very few guests because of this. But at the same time, we are not in a big rush of money. Of course, we need guests soon, so it's not we can't wait too long. But we have a bit of people, like we have already reserved because of this mouth to mouth. So now there is one ceremony of ayahuasca with two guests, and two girls are ready to do diet in the end of July. And then I told you Rowena also in August, etc. No, and Bruno has maybe some patients. So we have contacts and so on. But during this calm time, we want to enjoy also to rebuild. And so Kintinawi, I said, because we were thinking for a long time to do, we are also doing tours and local tours with locals. This is part of what we propose, but it was not organized. Even I think in your stay, when you with Samir, you went to the village and you spent one night, because a lot of times they want to see the village, because it's also a cute village, or to experiment something local. And this we want to propose, but Magia del Duende is too narrow. We want to specify, especially with all what happened, we need to be focused on the retreat, the hospedaje. So we think, and I thought this is also more the frame of an association. It doesn't need to be necessarily a business, because it's very hard to make money with a local, and it's not very something I want to promote. Thanks to Maria, we can maybe raise a bit the price, do a better room, and get a bit more money. And with this income, extra income, we can invest to this new association or create like at least the association will impulse and then it will not lose money at least, so we can have fair
Mhm.
deals. Like people will need to pay the activities also because of course if you have a workshop. So the idea of this association will be to promote workshops, like
Mhm.
chocolate workshop, because there is a lot of chocolate in Chasuta and we do chocolate and we did already the first chocolate workshop.
I ate a lot of chocolates there.
It's
Yeah.
not even organic. I say to people it's natural because it grows without any like organic. Sometimes they still use things, but it's just control limited products. But for us, it's just earth, the pure earth, and then of course we have a lot of ones who doesn't good. But because it's not our main business, we still want to just let
Yeah.
it grow spontaneously, you know. But the chocolate is especially linked with Chasuta, the cacao. So if
Yeah.
you guys listen this interview and want to visit Chasuta, Magia del Duende, or Peru in general, and the
Mhm.
jungle, of course, you know that it's not only the medicinal plants in Magia del Duende. We are also beginning this new collaborative project with locals who have a wisdom, who have a knowledge,
Mhm.
sometimes the ancient knowledge I received, sometimes also something they learned through this, yeah, like the generation of, because Chasuta is very known also for having been isolated for a long time. It was found only in the beginning of the 20th century, like more from the first church and so on. So they keep this tradition. That's why the medicinal plants. But of course, there is also the ceramic, for example, that is very known. And now Lean, this is the collaboration of Kitty is done with another association from Nepal. So this is crazy. She's an artist from China with many ceramics, but she also does paintings and so on, poems, no, but mainly, and she's creating an association in Nepal. She just graduated now from University of Miami. She was living in the US, but
Mhm.
now she goes back there and she wants to come every year to Peru to do this alliance. So now also it was good. We don't have a lot of guests because she had a small group and they could completely enjoy the space for them, you know. So everything was aligned and we don't. We did a meeting to see how we focus the next one, and we want to make the next one bigger. But of course, this will involve us to block the reservation because she wants to fill the center. So also
Mhm.
maybe this can allow me to think how to, like in the website, to put a section to contact us as collaborator and then to integrate Kintinawi. So all this is growing and it's almost the beginning of a new project. So we are even saying with Akiko, like Magia del Duende was still in the womb, like just barely birthing because yeah, of course it has already had so many amazing guests and experience and feedbacks and this 160 reviews in Google exists, so they are true experience,
Mhm.
etc. And the feedback we had in our notebook, we know what we create and the exchange we receive, like I was saying, also from the guests are true, but now it's also an exciting moment because it's this moment, like I was telling, a lot of time we grow slowly, but now I think we will pass a new stage. But for now, for 1 month, we want to keep it a bit down because it takes time. We
Mhm.
are doing meeting. Like today, I have a meeting with Adriana, that is also an amazing collaborator from Portugal. She's also an artist, and she was the one connected with Lynn to do this artist residence. She
Mhm.
worked also a bit as manager at Duende, but she would like to propose more dance activities, so with ecstatic dance, somatic therapies, a lot of these kind of things. So yeah, the idea would be to integrate this project, all these workshops inside of this association and relate it to Magia del Duende to do a partnership, and we'll
Mhm.
see how it goes.
I love the fact that so ethically involved with the locals, with Widmar, bringing also the volunteers, how everything is so sustainable. Like you don't think in terms of, okay, I have a money and I do this. No, you think in terms from so many different doors.
Part of mystery is that how you manage all this. A lot of people ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. What I lived in France was very not besides the mathematics studies. It was this context of being in competition because in France I was doing mathematics superior, so it's very they put you a lot of pressure when you just do begin this, and then the
Mhm.
engineer school, and to drop it was already a first. When I decided to stop mathematics, was a big like brain beginning of shift. You know, like I was a bit aware of. Thanks to internet now we can reach a bit more all this new information of these new waves of consciousness now that are also part of the plant medicine world, but not only uh, yeah, like this trying to break the system, you know, that I didn't want to be following a path that was not mine. And
Yeah.
so when I arrived here, I was with this big determination that that whatever happens, this is what I want, because I was really feeling I'm happy to live here and I love Chasuta and so on. So I was honest with myself in this. Like the move I was doing was so sure, and I think like so yeah, I feel rooted in this place in some way, or in my mind. Like I said at the beginning, it's all about you. But if you are aligned with what you do, and so I knew, and I think this was one of the keys. That the key is will be the connection with the locals to be accepted, no? Because you
Mm-hmm.
come as a foreigner to a new place, and it's a small village, and this is what you were mentioning. The relation with Widmer was a key, and the relation. All these locals saved me when other locals wanted to attack me, like I told you. It's not because I corrupt them; it's because they see I was trying to put myself at their level too. Like when I go to talk with, for example, Leo, she's a amazing lady who does jabones, like soaps. I was fascinated by her, and it was honest because she comes from a native community and she's a self-made woman, you know, so impressive. And they barely know how to read. A lot of people don't really have a scholar normal education there, you know. So I was truly interested by it, and didn't come to do business, and they saw it, you know, because I'm not very rich, but I had a bit of savings, but it was enough to begin what I did. But I was always showing them that when more money comes, I will share. And a lot of times they see that I'm not this guy who just build like this a big, you know, because there is around before Chasuta there is a center called Pumarinri, but you can see it lacks of soul. You know, it was just a Spanish guy who came and maybe he had I don't know 500,000 euros. For he built this big retreat, and now the night is like. 400 $100 a night. That is a lot for Peru for this context. But yeah, he managed. But we went even once for with a kickoff for a birthday, or once I think we tried. We wanted to see,
Yeah.
and he said Duende is better, you know, because you didn't have the waiters and the people. It's so informal, you know. They didn't have this soul, and I think he built this project completely aside of the local community.
Yeah.
He receives only, you know, a lot of even the workers are from other place, you know. It's not even locals.
That's why
Yeah.
Magia del Duende is so respectable and admirable, because it's true. It's true from the roots.
Thank you, thank you. And we are lucky to have an amazing local community too. There is really respectable people like there is Juanita. She's an old lady. I'm not sure you met her, but she's like 84 now, and she has a garden of like she does every day of flower garden is like a piece of art in itself with colors, and she knows every species of flower and plant that is in her garden of like native. And she's a ceramist. She's the founder of the Wasicha, is the main ceramic museum in Chasuta that was recognized Patrimonio Cultural de la Nación Peruana, like in the Patrimony of Culture. And she
Mm-hmm.
was recognized even persona meritoria del minister, like the Minister of Culture came to give her a medal. And she's really respectable. Like her picture is in the airport of Tarapoto. There were an exhibition, the influence woman from Chasuta, from the local region, and she is one of the neighbor. I was neighbor with her in my village, you know. But of course, like yeah, I think Chasuta has this. That's why I was telling to the guests or people who look this video that they can know that Chasuta is not only Magia del Duende, you know, and
Yeah.
this is this connection, and that's why Quintiara is known because this is. And I think like at the end of the day, I will maybe be less rich that this guy will be this Spanish resident, like you know, this residence, but maybe more happy or at least more aligned or more I feel able to be completely true with myself. I'm accepted by the people. They know who I am, and this is important in such kind of project, of course, when you completely go begin something in a new place. So this maybe is one of the
Thank you,
answers of you.
David.
Yeah,
We are approaching the end of this. We still have like a lot of pending questions, but
I imagine.
let's finish with one sentence. What is one sentence that keeps you in this?
Believe in your dream, but before of that, find your dream. It means a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people they believe in a dream that is not really their one, and so it's good to believe because this will give you the direction and the motivation. Like I was saying, all this challenge you overcome it because you have this vision and you go know where you go,
Yeah.
but also to be able to reorientate or to find your dream. Like a lot of time, like I said, it's also an organic body, and a lot of people get stuck in this because someone told them, no, you need to be a doctor, you need to be this, and it's very hard to completely break the rules or to change your life. And we are in a society today where we will need to be more adaptable and to accept that sometimes we need to change our projects life. And of course, we can still finish
Mm.
something and build it well, but to find your dream, yeah, like believe in your dream, and also before that, find your dream. Mhm.
So beautiful. Thank you
Okay,
so much,
thank
David.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
for
much
the
for your
whole talk and sharing your whole experience.
you're
I'm sure it
welcome.
will help many souls. Starting from me,
Amazing,
it's already helpful.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to you. And like I said at the beginning, without people like you who knows how to appreciate what we are and what we do, we could not give it. So it's
Mm.
happy because you know that in this world, unfortunately, a lot of people are a bit sleepy. And so if we were completely like sometimes with Akiko, we say like, yeah, like these guests that exist and like now Lynn and now you know, and you have also when you propose these events, now you say in Egypt and so on, and maybe one day I will suggest a guest to go there, or we are creating this exchange now. So
I'm also
yeah,
super
it was
grateful for their healing. Thank
amazing. See you, Laura.